Welcome everyone to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. My name's Adam Sykes, the founder of SwiftCase, professional productivity platform, and today I've got with me
Phil Whitby, developer at SwiftCase.
And Craig McCarthy, development manager at SwiftCase.
Okay, great. So today we were talking about in the office various things to do with the environment, and we got talking about food waste and sort of the trade-off at the moment that we've got between whose responsibility is it manufacturers, is it people, is it the shops, the supermarkets, and what can be done in the face of this situation, or is it just down to corporate responsibility? Who's really got the bulk of the job to tackle this?
I used to think I used to be quite cynical and just say, well, I can't make a difference because I'm just an individual, and this huge corporate
blame
entities.
It on the big corporation.
Yeah, well, it's not me. But I've since kind of realised that actually, the pressure that individuals impart on corporations to behave better through abstinence from buying or boycotting, whatever, does end up causing a change in corporate behaviour. And even if it's not always 100% where it should be, there's always some kind of incremental progress. And I think the food waste thing is a bit like the carbon footprint thing.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot in the news about Prince Harry flying around.
Yeah.
I think we're all hypocrites to a certain extent.
Yeah.
At that level, maybe not that quite as extreme, but we all have justifications for doing the thing that's bad for the environment. Like, we still use microwavable rice in my house, even though we've got a rice cooker.
Yeah.
Because we're like, it takes 10 minutes.
I do exactly the same thing. Yeah.
And yet we will still kind of be quite quite hard on ourselves for other things.
Yeah, like Starbucks and their cups.
Not
using Starbucks cups. I've got to take my own cup.
Yeah, exactly. That's the sort of thing. Exactly. It's so is it really just us patting ourselves on the back for doing our bit when it's really nothing compared to what?
Yeah, I think I suppose the other thing with the environment is people pick on the small things, don't they?
Yeah.
They pick on the cup, but then they drive their car.
Yeah,
and they
fly
5 minutes down the road and they go on 2 holidays or whatever, drive, using all the fuel that way, and leave lights on in the house and whatever else. The sort of the big things, if you like. And and we talked about this before. I think eating meat is another massive step that could help. But obviously that's a big change for people to make, and people do seize on small things, but at the end of the day, if there's just
isn't that like any change that you make? I mean, we've had discussions about this recently, haven't we? The more you kind of talk about, I'm going to do all this, the less like you are to do it.
If you need to talk about it, you're almost kind of sharing the responsibility, or you're deferring someone's authority to make you do it. And I used to see smokers do it all the time, and I used to do it as a smoker. I'm going to quit smoking today. I'm going to do it. And then as soon as I heard someone say it, I'd know that meant they weren't going to smoke today. And then within a day or two, they'd be there and they'd have forgotten, or if someone reminded them, they'd just shrug.
Yeah.
But when people quietly resolve to do it, they're much more likely.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the examples where it's not like quitting smoking or anything like that, is it? I think you've got to start small, because if it's such a dramatic lifestyle change, you can't do it all at once.
You couldn't suddenly stop driving without...
Exactly.
No, this is it. It's difficult.
Then you used to take 1 shower a day or something like that, and you've changed it now, or you...
Yeah. Well, I think there's a good argument for saying that a lot of these behaviours are actually bad for us in general anyway. That's a good example, the showering one. Most people shower every day, but there's a good argument that cleaning too often gets rid of all the bacteria.
It's like washing your hair, isn't it?
Makes you stinky. Exactly. Everyone knows that experience where if you wash your hair every day and then you leave it for a day or two, it goes greasy. So you're like, oh, that's why I need to wash it. But if you left it until all the natural oils balanced out and weren't suddenly being released as aggressively, then your hair condition is better.
Yeah,
you don't smell because you've got a good balance of bacteria. So there's a good argument that it's better for us to sort of attenuate this behaviour. Even in the short term, not just long term. It's your life will be better.
Driving's a key one, isn't it?
Cycle.
You've got immediate health benefits of exercise, but also the air quality around you. If everyone wasn't driving, there would be.
Yeah.
You know,
and even yourself, because you get intake of fumes into your cabin.
Yeah, that's the worst bit. If driving, apparently, you get the most fumes, don't you?
Yeah.
Compared to someone outside the car.
That's so interesting. Yeah, and you shut your windows.
Yeah, shut your windows and
the filters are rubbish as well. I replaced the filter in my car, and I was like, that is a laughable.
Yeah, it's paper.
It's like this is, and there's like huge gaps around it.
Yeah.
It's like the most like. Oh.
I feel like it's been such an afterthought though, like a lot of environmental problems, I suppose, that have just kind of coming to light now. Everything's just been left.
Yeah,
it was like the diesel, wasn't it? The diesel. Everyone was told diesel is better for the environment. It's the carbon footprint of diesel is smaller than petrol, so everyone switched to diesel. But then the particulate issues around diesel mean that's so that's worse for air quality. So there's a trade-off between the two, but everyone was told you do this, and it's good for the environment. But no one knows. I suppose at the time they didn't know that,
or some party did know. Just like some party knew that, for instance, it's not fat that makes you obese; it's sugar.
Yeah,
that whole, and for years, the idea that it was eating fat was missold. And the consequences, people trust experts less.
Yeah.
Because and it's the same with all this. So it's all coming out now. But if it all comes out and says, "See, we told you," people say, "Well, multiple people told us multiple different things about the nature of." And the same argument is with people who used to smoke in the 40s and 50s, and doctors used to recommend it. And, so you can understand why people would, like 90% of people smoked. It wasn't because they were idiots. No, we like to think, they were just like ignoring the signs. They were genuinely sold disinformation from a lot of angles.
Yeah, and also it's an addictive.
And it's also addictive.
Well, I mean, you read articles all the time, don't you? Like, cheese is good for you. It's awful for you.
Chocolate,
and beer's apparently
wine. How many glasses of wine a day and stuff like that.
Exactly. So it's where you get the information from, isn't it? And especially back then, I suppose, when
there's only a few avenues to get information.
Exactly. Then of course it's going to lead you down the wrong path, isn't it?
Yeah. So I suppose coming back round to corporate responsibility and the food waste, really, what we're saying is that everyone can make a difference, can play their part, because in the UK alone there's 65 million people. If we all do something together, then it's going to make a big impact, even if just in the UK. So, but at the same time, corporations do have a responsibility to actually try to do something. I mean, obviously most corporations would say their biggest responsibility is to their shareholders,
they wouldn't say that publicly.
They wouldn't say that publicly, but that's what they might think behind the scenes. And sometimes they use ethical issues as a marketing ploy.
I mean, I never buy it. When a huge corporation says, "Oh, we've done all these amazing things that are going to benefit the environment,"
you don't trust them.
Like McDonald's replaced the straws, didn't they?
It's marketing.
With paper
straws.
That's
a fantastic example.
But they still use balloons.
You can't recycle.
The lid is still.
Yeah, the lid. Like you get a little McFlurry, and it's like a huge plastic lid on top for some reason.
You can't recycle those straws, apparently.
And you need about 3 because they disintegrate by the time.
That disintegration is the good thing, though, isn't it? Because they're not going to last forever, isn't that?
No, but you use 3 straws instead of 1.
It's similar to the argument about the Teslas, like the manufacturing cost, the environmental impact of the manufacturing of a giant battery. And a car has a huge
transport around.
It's not like it's all cloak and dagger to get you to buy it, but because we're sensitive to the environment now, is it genuinely happening? Are there genuine changes happening, or is it all this sort of subterfuge? I don't know. This thing, it's hard to not remain cynical at every turn. So
there clearly is. I mean, there's clearly a problem that needs addressing. It's whether the corporations at the moment are taking steps to address those problems seriously, or just using it as a marketing, a marketing opportunity to say, look at this green product. And like greenwashing, effectively, the whole issue. And just
as
not actually having an impact. So I suppose the question is, we haven't decided the answer. The question is, what do you think? So I think if people drop a comment below in the comment section about what they think about corporate responsibility and regards to food waste, I think that we can see it helps us solve the issue. Yeah. But I think it is true though, isn't it, that we do need to reduce packaging. But at the same time, as we just said, moments before we started, packaging helps the shelf life of food. So if the biggest impact is actually in transporting the food, it's the actual carbon footprint of the distribution network. Actually having the food last longer might be better than they're having so the food waste and the need to replenish that through extra transportation might be worse than plastic itself for one particular problem. But the single-use plastic problem and the carbon footprint problem, they're not the same problem. Everything's taken as the environment, but there's very different issues. Of plastic is not a problem because of global warming or climate change. It's more, it is, but it's also a problem of like it ending up in our in the sea and breaking down to microparticles in our in our
just
water.
So we have apples from Venezuela. It's like, and there's an apple tree in my neighbour's garden.
Which is all on the floor. And
and you're like, no, that's not the right shape.
And
there's a little black mark there. There might have been a grub on. And then they're all gone. But I'm like, look, my gala apples from Argentina. They're right there, and they look great.
But the alternative is we eat seasonally. Everyone can only have products when they're in season in your local area. You can't, make whatever recipe you want.
It's or nothing, basically.
It's basically, do you want to go back in time to the time before sort of global trade in food?
Because people want strawberries all year round.
If you want a strawberry in December, that's what's got to happen. The only alternative is you don't have a strawberry in December, or we come up with some other way of growing them, which probably uses just as much energy to grow them in the UK. So
that's it. I think we've got to, even if corporations do change, I think this is the end. Even if they do change, and it has to be drastic, it will affect us as consumers. Anyway, so you can either start getting used to disciplining yourself and limiting your perceptions of what like a complete life is as a consumer, which for a lot of people it's like a complete life is I want to buy new things all as much as possible, and that's going to change whether we do it or the corporations do it.
Or we're forced to do it.
Exactly. But
I suppose at the same time, if you take other issues like transport, if we didn't have cars, we're thinking about it now as if we didn't have a car, the transport infrastructure in the UK is dreadful. It's geared around, especially if you don't live in a big city. Like if you live in London, you're okay. But if you live here where we are, up in the northwest, if you haven't got a car, you effectively can't get many places. The buses don't cover most of the route. We've only got a couple of train lines. They're very infrequent. You go down to London, it's 1 or 2 minutes. You come up here, it's every half an hour if you're lucky. Buses are infrequent, don't turn up, unreliable.
I don't think it's too bad here, to be fair. Around Liverpool.
But if we had to get rid of cars, then what would happen?
But like if you wanted to get to Manchester, if you want to get to work, if you want to do the commute, then you probably could replace. Most people could, if they made the effort, they could get the train or the bus. But if you want to have the lifestyle of being able to go wherever you want, whenever you want, across the northwest, you can't do it. You can do that in London, you can do
London's
that in London.
Extremely efficient. I mean, it's preferred.
Whether you
driving.
You don't even without the buses, just the tube, you can get anywhere you want. But that's not the case across the country. But if that was the case across the country,
then it'd be
then it would be a viable option.
I think specifically like the rural areas, it's just not feasible whatsoever. But there are some places in the UK where the transport links are so dire, it's unbelievable. Because I'm someone who doesn't drive, so trying to get somewhere sometimes is difficult. Unless I get a lift off someone.
My wife used to go from East London to West London to work, and it'd be an hour's journey. It cost her like £2.50. On the overground. That equivalent journey, which like Liverpool to Manchester, would be like 15-20 quid a day, and it's unfeasible.
That's true. The price of it actually.
That's a good point.
So I suppose that's the thing is where we currently are thinking of stopping things without having the replacements there. If the replacements were there,
or even the need to actually travel might not be there.
People would be, that's the other point, isn't it? If you didn't need to go down to London every week, because people are actually a bit more accommodating about the fact that people don't all live in London, everything doesn't revolve around London, and we actually did make use of technology and other things.
People in finance are going to work in London to phone someone in another country from an office where they could easily.
The likes of remote working as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
realistically, so
yeah. Okay, so we haven't solved the global crisis, but if you've got any comments about this, what your thoughts are, drop them in the comments below.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to see more of our discussions about the environment and all the things that impact us in general.
And we need to save the planet, but we hope that you save a link to our webpage at swiftcase.co.uk, and don't forget to follow us on social media at SwiftCaseUK.
Great. Thanks for listening to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. We'll see you again next time.